Sometime this summer, a traveler from Ohio is going to hand their U.S. passport to a customs agent in Paris.
Right.
And that agent is going to see something they have basically never seen on a modern travel document before. I mean, a localized, highly specific, limited edition commemorative redesign featuring a former president's face.
It is a really striking visual shift. And it's all tied to this massive impending milestone we have coming up.
The 250th anniversary, right?
Exactly. This coming July, the United States celebrates the semi-quincentennial, a quarter of millennium. And, whenever a date like that approaches, the machinery of the federal government just kind of kicks into gear.
They start rolling out the official merch, basically.
Right, rolling out official items to brand and commemorate the moment.
Well, that machinery is exactly what we're looking at today. For this deep dive, we've gathered a stack of really revealing sources.
We have a lot to get through.
We really do. We're looking at recent news reports, official statements from the State Department, directives from the Department of the Interior, and crucially, these specific design mock-ups that were first reported by The Bulwark and then published by Fox News.
Yeah, those mock-ups are fascinating.
They are. So our mission today is to map out the entire ecosystem of this 250th anniversary rollout. But we're really placing a magnifying glass on the new U.S. passport design because the way it's being distributed is honestly just bafflingly unique.
It really is. But before we get into the physical mechanics of that passport, it probably also set some ground rules for how we're analyzing this.
Oh, absolutely. Look, anytime a current political figure's image is put on a government item, the internet immediately lights up with heated political debates.
Of course. It's inevitable.
It is entirely inevitable. But for our deep dive today, we are skipping the partisan noise completely. We are not here to debate the politics of this summer's rollout.
Not at all.
We are looking purely at the logistics. We want to know how a highly secure international document physically undergoes a redesign, how this incredibly unusual scarcity model is being applied to a federal ID, and what our sources tell us about the broader strategy across different agencies.
Right.
We are strictly looking at the mechanics of the event.
Which honestly makes for a much more compelling story. Because when you strip away the political commentary, you're left with this fascinating case study in bureaucratic design and logistical engineering.
It's a massive undertaking.
It is. And to really grasp the magnitude of the passport change, we need to establish the baseline first. We have to look at the physical architecture of the passport you probably have sitting in a drawer right now.
Yeah, I actually pulled mine out right before we started recording.
Oh, nice.
Because, most of us treat our passports purely as functional tools. It's just a booklet you frantically search for the night before an international flight.
Exactly. You just check if it's expired and toss it in your bag.
Right. But the artwork inside is not random at all. If you open up a standard issue U.S. passport today and you look at the inside front cover, you see a very specific, carefully constructed historical tableau.
Yeah, you're looking at a reproduction of a painting by Percy Moran. It depicts a very visceral moment in American history. It's Francis Scott Key standing on a ship on the morning after the bombardment of Fort McHenry.
Right, this is the War of 1812. The British Navy has been shelling the fort all night, and Key is looking through the smoke to see if the flag is still flying.
Exactly. And right there alongside the painting, printed directly into the fibers of the page, are lines from the poem that Experience inspired.
The Star-Spangled Banner.
Our national anthem, yeah. So from a design perspective, the current passport uses its prime real estate to evoke this narrative of defense, endurance, and, national survival.
It's a very classical, almost somber aesthetic.
Very much so.
So that is the foundation we are starting from. Now let's pull up the new design mock-ups from our sources. According to the reports from Fox News and The Bulwark, the 250th anniversary passport is undergoing a major thematic and visual overhaul.
It's a complete shift.
Right. Starting with the back cover, they are swapping out one historical era for another. The back will now feature an image from John Trumbull's famous The Declaration of Independence painting.
And what's fascinating here is the shift in messaging. Trumbull's painting is the iconic image of the drafting committee, right? Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin.
Presenting the document to the Continental Congress.
Exactly. You've probably seen it on the back of the $2 bill. So by moving from the War of 1812 to 1776, the design aligns the document directly with the semi-quincentennial.
That makes perfect sense for a 250th anniversary, but the most drastic alteration is happening on that inside front cover.
Right, the prime real estate.
According to the mock-ups, the Fort McHenry scene is gone entirely. In its place, the inside cover will feature a portrait of President Donald Trump, accompanied by his signature printed in gold.
Okay, let's unpack this, because changing the design of a passport is not just some simple graphic design exercise.
No, it's not like changing the cover of a notebook.
Exactly. Think of a modern passport like a smartphone. The underlying security framework, the biometric chips buried in the pages, the invisible UV watermarks, the microprinting that you need a magnifying glass to read.
All that hidden tech.
Right, that is the operating system, and is locked down tight by international treaties. So my immediate question when looking at the sources was, how do you drastically change the physical aesthetics of the document, potentially adding reflective elements like a gold signature, without blinding the optical character recognition scanners at border checkpoints in over 100 different countries?
I had the exact same thought. I mean, if you mess with the layout, the whole system of global travel grinds to a halt. A border scanner in Tokyo doesn't care about a 250th anniversary.
No, it cares about data integrity.
Exactly.
And the State Department actually had to address this exact mechanical concern. On Tuesday, spokesperson Tommy Pigott gave a statement confirming the rollout of these specially designed commemorative passports.
Right.
But notice how defensive his language is regarding the architecture of the document. He stated, and I'm quoting here, "These passports will feature customized artwork and enhanced imagery while maintaining the same security features that make the U.S. passport the most secure documents in the world."
Okay. So to carry your smartphone analogy forward, he is essentially arguing that they are just changing the wallpaper on the lock screen.
That's a great way to put it.
The aesthetic changes, but the underlying OS that's routing your data to the customs agent, that remains completely untouched.
That is exactly the mechanism at play, because modern passport pages are built in these complex, distinct layers.
Right.
The crucial functional data, the machine-readable zone at the bottom of the page with all those chevrons and letters, and the biometric chip embedded deep inside that thick polycarbonate data page.
The really stiff plastic page with your photo.
Right, exactly. Those are physically segregated from the purely visual artwork on the inside covers. So as long as the gold signature and the new portraits stay out of the optical reading zones, and they don't interfere with the UV threads woven into the paper, the State Department can overlay whatever commemorative aesthetics they want on that top surface layer.
Without triggering counterfeit alarms globally.
Precisely.
It is a fascinating tightrope walk between high-end security engineering and commemorative branding. But, okay, if the underlying security architecture is identical, and this is ultimately a cosmetic overlay, that brings us to the logistics of actually getting one.
Yeah, the distribution.
Because this is where the story gets incredibly strange. The sources make it clear that the State Department is not just flipping a switch and printing 300 million of these.
Oh, far from it.
Right.
If your passport expires next month and you think you are automatically getting this new Trumbull and Trump design in the mail, you are mistaken. The rollout strategy is highly restrictive.
Here's where it gets really interesting. A State Department official outlined the exact parameters for acquisition. This new design will only be the default passport for a highly specific, geographically locked subset of travelers.
Right.
You must be renewing your passport, you must complete the process in person, and you must do it specifically at the Washington Passport Agency.
Let's look closely at the language from the official statement there, because they were explicitly clear about the exceptions. They said online options or other locations will maintain existing passport design.
Wait, process that for a second. If I live in Seattle or Miami or Chicago and I go to my local post office to renew my passport, which is what the vast majority of Americans do,
Right.
I do not get this anniversary design. If I use the incredibly popular online renewal portal, I do not get it. I simply receive the standard baseline design we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
with Francis Scott Key and the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah. This raises an important question. Why apply an artificial scarcity model to a federal identification document?
It's so weird.
It is. The entire philosophy of government bureaucracy is built around uniformity and standardization.
Right, exactly.
The goal is for a driver's license or a passport to look identical, whether it is issued in Maine or Hawaii. Bottlenecking a new design to a single physical office completely defies standard logistical practices.
It fundamentally changes the nature of the transaction, because renewing a passport is universally considered an annoying bureaucratic chore.
Oh, totally.
You fill out a form, you pay a fee, you take a terrible photo, and you wait weeks for the mail. But by restricting the commemorative design exclusively to the Washington Passport Agency, the government is essentially creating a limited edition drop.
You're basically forcing a pilgrimage.
Precisely. Think about the physical capacity of a single agency office. How many in-person appointments can the Washington Passport Agency even handle in a given week? A few hundred? A few thousand at most.
Too bad not that many, yeah.
Out of millions of traveling Americans, only a microscopic fraction will actually secure this document. You have to physically travel to the Capitol, secure an in-person appointment during this specific window of time, just to acquire a variation of a functional ID.
It creates a bifurcated travel infrastructure for the summer. You're going to have this massive standard pipeline shipping out thousands of Fort McHenry passports across the country every single day.
Right.
And parallel to that, you have this highly concentrated, localized issuance of the commemorative version happening in just one room in Washington, D.C.
It is a total logistical anomaly. But according to our sources, we shouldn't view this passport redesign in a vacuum. It is not an isolated experiment by the State Department.
No, not at all. It is the capstone of a multi-agency, comprehensive initiative to brand the 250th anniversary.
Right.
To understand why the passport looks the way it does, you really have to look at the other artifacts being produced across the federal government.
Well, let's bring in those other sources, starting with the Treasury. Last month, the Commission of Fine Arts voted to approve a commemorative coin for the United States' 250th birthday.
Right.
And this coin, much like the passport, will feature the current president's likeness.
And the crucial detail in the reporting here is the mechanism behind that approval. The Commission of Fine Arts is an independent federal agency, right? They're tasked with guiding the aesthetic and architectural design of the capital and federal coins.
Okay.
But the sources specifically note that the members of this commission were handpicked by President Trump.
Which explains the aesthetic alignment. It isn't a coincidence that different departments are producing similar designs. There is a centralized board driving the visual language of the anniversary.
Exactly.
And it doesn't stop with coins. Let's look at the Department of the Interior. They oversee a massive chunk of federal land, including all the national parks.
Yeah, and the Interior Department announced they are unveiling commemorative new designs for their park passes. Specifically, the new iteration of the America the Beautiful Pass features Trump's face positioned right alongside George Washington.
There is a video on the Interior Department's website that really drives the messaging home. It features Secretary Doug Burgum holding up the pass.
Oh yeah, the video.
He says, and I quote, "It is the department's honor to showcase the beautiful pass honoring America's 250th anniversary and the generations who have protected our lands."
And the sources also point out that this is part of a broader, ongoing trend of physical branding. Like last year, we saw a similar strategy applied to architecture.
Right, the buildings.
Yeah, with Trump's name being affixed to the Kennedy Center and the U.S. Institute of Peace. So we are looking at a highly orchestrated pattern here. Physical buildings, entry passes to federal lands, and collectible currency, all being visually aligned with the current administration in the lead up to the semi-quincentennial.
But the sources explicitly call out the passport as the latest and most significant instance of this branding.
Yes, they do.
Why do they elevate the passport above the rest of the ecosystem? Like, why is a passport more significant than a national park pass or a commemorative coin?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really comes down to geographic reach and functional authority.
Okay.
Let's look at the mechanics of a commemorative coin. A coin is inherently a static collectible. You might purchase it, put it in a display case, and leave it on a shelf in your living room.
Right, it never leaves your house.
Exactly.
And a national park pass, while highly functional, is strictly domestic. You hand it to a ranger at the gates of Yellowstone or the Grand Canyon. It is an internal document used for internal recreation.
Yeah, it has zero authority outside the borders of the United States.
None.
A U.S. passport, however, operates on a completely different plane of existence. As the source material highlights, a passport is an internationally recognized form of identification. It is the ultimate tool of global navigation.
You aren't showing a passport to a park ranger in Wyoming. You are handing it over to a border guard in Tokyo, a customs official in Paris, or a hotel clerk in Buenos Aires.
Right.
It is the official physical representation of the United States presented to the international community.
Yeah.
It is the primary document that proves your identity, your citizenship, and the diplomatic weight of your home country to the rest of the world. So projecting domestic anniversary branding onto that specific canvas gives it a global footprint that a coin simply cannot match.
That's spot on. And that unparalleled global footprint is combined with another critical factor, which is longevity.
Oh, right.
The reporting specifically emphasizes a crucial functional detail, which is that a standard U.S. adult passport is valid for 10 years.
That right there is the detail that completely recontextualizes this entire deep dive, because an anniversary, even a massive one like the semi-quincentennial in July 2026, is ultimately fleeting.
Yeah, it passes.
It is a season, a moment in time. A national park pass expires after a year. But a highly secure travel document that remains valid for an entire decade. That fundamentally alters the nature of what a commemorative item actually is.
It introduces the concept of bureaucratic permanence. The celebrations will end this summer, for sure, but the physical artifacts generated by this rollout will remain active, functional parts of the global travel infrastructure for a very long time.
Okay, we have covered an immense amount of ground today, navigating through multiple federal agencies and international security protocols. Let's do a quick distillation of the core facts we've pulled from our stack of sources.
Sure. So the central narrative is that America's 250th anniversary this July is driving a synchronized wave of commemorative redesigns across the federal bureaucracy.
Right.
Through bodies like the Commission of Fine Arts and the Department of the Interior, we are seeing the rollout of new coins. In America, the beautiful national park passes, featuring the likeness of President Trump and historical figures like George Washington.
And the crown jewel of this initiative is the rollout of a limited-run U.S. passport. This new document overlays customized anniversary aesthetics onto the existing rigorous international security framework.
Exactly.
It swaps out the traditional Fort McHenry painting for John Trumbull's Declaration of Independence and features the president's portrait and gold signature on the inside cover.
But the defining characteristic of this passport is its hyper-restricted distribution. In a major departure from standard federal ID issuance, it will only be available as the default option for travelers who secure an in-person appointment specifically at the Washington Passport Agency.
Right.
The millions of people renewing online or through local agencies will just continue to receive the standard baseline design.
So what does this all mean? We always like to leave you with a final thought to mull over, something that takes the facts we've unpacked and pushes them a step further. I want to go back to that 10-year validity we were just discussing. A passport issued this summer during this highly specific, geographically bottlenecked commemorative rollout will be valid until the year 2036.
It essentially functions as a functional time capsule that you carry in your pocket.
Exactly. Fast forward 8 or 9 years from now, long after the fireworks of July 2026 have faded from memory, a very limited group of travelers, the people who happen to walk into that specific building in Washington, D.C. this summer, will still be carrying a frozen-in-time snapshot of America's 250th birthday.
Yeah.
Year after year, that specific design will still be actively moving through customs lines and hotel lobbies around the world.
It really forces you to consider the strange relationship between commemoration and everyday utility.
It really does. Most of the time, we want our government IDs to be invisible. We want them to be frictionless, standard, boring keys that simply unlock a door or allow us to cross a border.
Totally.
But this summer, for a select few who navigate the logistics of the Washington Passport Agency, that invisible key is being transformed into a highly specific statement piece. How does carrying a physical piece of a limited edition commemorative moment change our relationship with the everyday documents we use to prove who we are to the world?
It is a compelling question to think about the next time you empty your pockets at an airport security checkpoint.
Next time you're standing in that international customs line, reaching into your bag, you might find yourself looking just a little bit more closely at the details in the pages of the little blue book you pull out. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the mechanics of the semi-quincentennial redesign. Keep looking closely at the systems around you, keep asking how things actually work, and keep questioning the details hidden in plain sight.